Premier League is back this weekend, and I have some predictions to make on top goal scorer, top assister, young player, dark horse team, which team is going to do very bad compared to last season. I have a lot of predictions to make, so let's get straight into it with top goal scorer. I think Erling Haaland is pretty much set to be top goal scorer. I can't see many other Premier League strikers that could score 25 plus goals on a consistent basis. Some strikers might be able to have very good seasons, like last season, Joao Pedro had a very good season compared to his standards. But then you look at players like Igor Thiago, you look at players like Sesko. I feel like they might be able to do something. Brentford looked pretty good in preseason. Igor Thiago, will he be able to go back to back 20 plus goals this season? I don't think so. I think he'll get hit around 18, 19 goals, Igor Thiago. But the players like Joao Pedro, players like Sesko, can they hit 20 goals? I'm not too sure. I think the only other striker that could rival Haaland and score more than 20 goals is Isak. Isak has a very good season. He can rival it. But even then, is he going to be fit enough to play the entire season and play and score the goals on a consistent basis like Erling Haaland does? I don't think so. I think Erling Haaland is pretty much set to be top goal scorer. One of my hot takes for the season is that I think Gonzalo Garcia will be in the top four or top three goal scorers. I genuinely believe that he has the capabilities, the goal scoring ability to be the top three. I don't think many of these other strikers that I named are way better than him. I don't think any of the strikers are better goal scorers than Gonzalo Garcia. You might say Joao Pedro is better on the ball, he drop deep, playing the 10. But he's not. I don't think he's a way better goal scorer than Gonzalo Garcia. And I think the way there's probably a little spoiler on who my dark horse is going to be. But if players like Oscar Bob, like Emil Smith Rowe, if Alex Iwobi, if they feed Gonzalo Garcia, he'll score so many goals with every chance he'll be scoring almost every chance he gets. I rate him very highly. That's one of my hot takes. Gonzalo will be in the top three, but top goal scorer, it's gonna be Haaland. It's gonna be Haaland. Top assister, this might be controversial, but I think Palmer is gonna be in the top. I think he's gonna be top assister. My predictions video, I said Chelsea will finish second place, and if Chelsea finish second place, it will most likely be because of how good of a season Palmer has. And the way I see it is, I saw what Xabi Alonso did to Florian Wirtz at Leverkusen. Everyone saying he's the best 10 in the world. Florian Wirtz, he went off to go buy 220 million pounds. Like the way what Xabi Alonso and Florian Wirtz did at Leverkusen, I think they could sort of replicate that with Xabi Alonso and Cole Palmer. I genuinely believe that Cole Palmer could be back to the form he had 2 years ago. Even the year on the year under Enzo Maresca, he didn't do too bad, but the year under Pochettino where he just went crazy, I think he'll have a very similar season in terms of assists. I think. And then you even look at the competition. Bruno Fernandes, will he have the same season? I'm not too sure. He might. I think he will have some trouble with fitness because of how much the games they're going to play with Champions League and his age. And I just think that Bruno Fernandes will be around there. Don't get me wrong. Cole Palmer might be Bruno Fernandes by one assist or two. I'm not saying they're going to break the all time assist that Bruno hit last season, but I just think that Palmer will be the top assister. And you think of the players he has around him. Like I said, Joao Pedro. You look at players like Rogers, Nicolas Jackson, Danny Welbeck. These are all players that are runners. Rogers is gonna make runs in behind. Jackson, he's gonna make runs in behind. Pedro is gonna maybe tuck in a little bit, maybe cut back to him a little bit. But Danny Welbeck, he's going to be a player that you could cross it to put a ball in behind. I think Cole Palmer will benefit a lot from these Chelsea players, the Xabi Alonso system. I think Palmer is said to be top assister. It's controversial. You have Bruno Fernandes. Odegaard might have a good season. Bukayo Saka might have a good season. Eze might have a good season. There's a lot of players, but I think that since there's not a set player. You could say Bruno Fernandes is a set player, but I think Cole Palmer is going to come up. And if I have Chelsea finishing second, I think Cole Palmer has to be a very important factor in that, and I think he will be top assister. Young Player of the Year. I've mentioned Rio Engamo before. You can mention Max Dowman, but I think Miles Lewis Skelly, man. You guys might be bored of how much I talk about Miles Lewis Skelly, but even if you saw his performance in the Community Shield, you just can't deny Miles Lewis Kelly. He's 19 years old. He's so good, and I think he'll play a lot of minutes this season. I think Arteta saw how good he was and how important he was for Arsenal at the end of last season. I think he played the last 10 games in the Prem, or at least half of those 10 games. And then the Champions League, he was playing against Atletico Madrid, the game against PSG. I think he played very well in that final. And I just think Lewis Skelly he's such a good player. And if he gets the minutes, he just needs the minutes to prove himself and to show himself to the world. If he gets those minutes, I think he's pretty solid to solidify. He's going to solidify himself as the best young player of the season. And if Arsenal go back to back and he's a big player in that, he has to play. He has to win Young Player of the Year. And if some other options, Rio and Gamoa, Palestra, Estevao. I don't think Estevao is going to get that many minutes for Chelsea. They don't have many competitions to balance it out. I don't think Estevao will get many minutes, or else he would be one of, if not my top player for Young Player of the Year. But I think Lewis Skelly, he's going to get a lot of minutes. He's going to play alongside very good players. He's going to, if Arsenal go back to back, he's going to be a very important factor. And I think Lewis Skelly is pretty much set for that because, Rion Gamoa, there's still question marks if he's going to start. Dauman, I don't think he's going to get many minutes this season again. I think they're just going to slowly put him in there. Chelsea, Palestra, Quenda, there's some players there who could get it, but I think Skelly is the favorite. Let me know if you guys have any other players. Dark horses. I mentioned it a little bit. I have Fulham being my dark horse. I think I rate Fulham very well. It's not that I rate them very highly, but I have a lot of positive energy towards them. Maybe a lot of people will say it's the Real Madrid bias, and it probably is. I've seen these. I watched these players. I saw this manager week in, week out last season. Gonzalo Garcia scored around, I think it was 15 goals for us last season. 15 goals at Real Madrid as an Mbappe backup is not easy. It's not easy with the expectations. He was top goal scorer at the Club World Cup last summer. I think I rate Gonzalo Garcia very highly, but even players like Palacios, I mentioned it in my video, in my Chelsea Fulham video. Those are teams that I'm looking forward to this season. Palacios, I mentioned Palacios, and I mentioned how he's more of a Premier League midfielder. You think of La Liga midfielders, you think of Pedri, you think of Bernal, you think of these players that are very good on the ball. Well, you think of Spanish football, you think of very good players that are not the fastest, not the most athletic, but very good on the ball, very very soft on it. But I think Palacios is a Premier League midfielder. You look at Premier League, very fast, very quick thinking, go move forward, right? Not too many side passes, not too many backwards passes, move forward, drive forward. I think Palacios is very good. He's very good at the 1-2s, pass and move, move forward, move the ball forward. Palacios is very good at that. And then Arbeloa, I think Arbeloa will get the best out of some of these players. I think they have a very good players that match the style, like the Spanish style, and just Spanish managers in general. Spanish managers are doing very well all over the world. They're winning World Cups, winning Euros, winning Premier Leagues, winning Champions League. All these managers winning Europa Leagues. Spanish managers is the style right now. And I think Arbeloa, and they have very good players. Oscar Bob, Emil Smith Rowe. They have Alex Iwobi. They have Robinson. They have Calvin Bassey. They have a very solid squad, and I think they'll do very well. Fulham, and by very, people might ask, what do you mean by very well? To the standards of Fulham, I think it's Fulham. Fulham standards, I think, is 12th to 13th to 14th. I think people expect Fulham to finish between 14th and 10th, right? I think they'll finish around 8th. But the thing is, it's not just about them finishing 8th, but I think they'll give some big teams some very good games. I could see them going out to beat Chelsea. I could see them going out to Liverpool and beating Liverpool. I could see them at home beating a Man City. I think there will be a lot of these bigger teams in very good fashion. I think they'll play very exciting and good football. And that's the thing, right? Dark horses, maybe you might not see 8th place as a dark horse, maybe even a 7th place as a dark horse. But I think the style of play will be very well. I think there will be a lot of the top teams, and I think that will solidify themselves as a very good dark horse and a surprise team. They might finish 7th, they might finish 6th. Who knows? It's a Premier League, things change. But I just think I just looking forward to them very, very well. Yes, because of the Madrid bias, but just because I think the players fit what Arbeloa wants to play. I think the players will help players like Gonzalo Garcia, and I just think they'll have a very good season, very good style of football, very good games against the bigger teams. Fulham are my dark horse. Player of the season. This one I struggled so much to choose, and I'm still struggling to choose, right? Because last season, player people, I don't think people would have gone and said Bruno Fernandes player of this year. I don't think no one in their right mind after Man United finished 17th expected United to go the 15th. They expected Bruno Fernandes to be the player of the year. So it's very hard to decide. If Arsenal go back to back, it should be someone in Arsenal. I think whether it's Declan Rice, whether it's Bruno Guimaraes, whether it's Bukayo Saka, if he has a good season, which I'm not sure about too sure about Saka. Maybe it's a signing that we don't know about yet. You might be an Arsenal signing an attacker, and that turns out to be their player of the year. Man United go out and sign a center back that gets them second place in a Carabao and FA Cup, and they get player of the year. It's very hard to choose, but if you had to ask me, I think it would have to be someone like Declan Rice. Someone like Declan Rice, someone like Bruno Guimaraes, someone like Gabriel, someone like Saliba. And if I were to say someone from the other teams, maybe Bruno Fernandes again if they do very well. Maybe Isaac, Haaland. It's very hard to predict. That's someone I want you guys to tell me who you think is going to be player of the season. I just find it very hard to choose. Last season no one predicted Bruno Fernandes. This season it could be Declan Rice, it could be Gabriel or Saliba, it could be Haaland, it could be Isak. Florian Wirtz could out of nowhere just shake up the entire league. Palmer could have a very good year. Morgan Rogers, like it's very hard to decide this one. I really need your guys' help. And then a team that I think is going to do kind of bad this season or not to the expectations. City is one of them. I think they lost Rodri, Bernardo Silva, Pep Guardiola. I think they're very, very slow in defense. But if you were to ask me about another team, I would say Sunderland. I think Sunderland are going to struggle a lot. I think Sunderland it's going to be very hard for them to balance out the Europe and the Prem. And then you look at the Carabao and the FA Cup. They're going to have to balance all these out. And I don't think they've made enough signings. They've kept a lot of their players, which is very good. They haven't made any signings, which is pretty bad in my opinion. They need, if you want to compete at all fronts, or at least have very good tournaments in Europe, or have a very good a solid Premier League season, I think you need to buy players to solidify yourself. And I just think that Sunderland will drop down. I don't think they're used to it yet. Man City, I think is like the biggest name when it comes to teams that I think aren't going to do too well. Newcastle, you could say in there, but they're buying new players, young players. It's a new process. It's a new thing. I don't think I could blame them too much. And they didn't finish too high last year, anyways. So I can't say Newcastle. And other people are saying Newcastle are going to drop down a lot. But even if they do drop down to like 15th or 16th, battling. I think it's a process. I think they lost too many players for it to put them in that like terrible season status. So those are my predictions. Let me know what you guys think. Who do you guys think is going to be the top goal scorer, top assister, young player of the year? Who's your dark horse? Who's your surprise team? Who's going to have a bad season? Who's your player of the year? Make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down what you guys think. Premier League is back. Football is back. La Liga is back. Very exciting times, man. Very exciting times.